Alright, so with that set off, say I sent it Dreadnought 24 a little unambitiously, so I'm going to see if I can't get this superstructure here today to the point I wanted to get it to previously, which this is pretty close already, but still. And then what I'm going to do after that is get to work, I think, on these little guys. Maybe in the background I'll remember to place a couple orders to a couple vendors to get a couple little previous facilities I had back up and running, i.e. the photo etching, which would be marvelous. So, without further ado, time to set up the camera, put it in the appropriate position. Let's see, does this thing about right? A little more. Perfection. And of course, because this is not your standard channel, alright, there we go. Get this good and full. Shed a tear for my liver, and here we go. Shed no tears for the liver is evil and must be punished. Anyways, so there I am putting in more walls to make the small rooms in this back section of the superstructure. Those were mostly water cabinets. There were a few that weren't. There was like, I guess, a bread store was one room, and there was another couple rooms, but it wasn't this you know, big thing. It was actually yeah, it was actually, you know, just small little rooms back there. After adding the right walls in the right places, looking at the plans again, I'm pretty much just going to paint the outlet line of all the doors on like they're closed. That's more than likely what I'm going to do, just to make my life easy. I go ahead and I add some more room separations. I think that was a needed thing that I found. And then I add one more room to this superstructure before getting to the front section of all those little decks. Yay! Yep. So I add that wall section, then I cut I cut out another wall length, and then I cut a door into it and bend it out, so because it was an actual swing out door kind of thing. And then after I glue that in place, marvel at my handiwork, and then I start again getting to this section of decks. And I start the same way I started with the other ones, where I take a look at what's at the very bottom of the boat, and I start trying to mimic those members and tanks and whatnot that formed, I guess it was like a double bottom, I don't know. Maybe not, but it had like a bunch of tanks in the very bottom of the boat. I remember that from the plans. And so I try to glue it in, I adjust, I tweak and poke and prod. You're viewing this at about 20 times the speed, so this is going to take me about a good minute, but it took about a half an hour for me to figure out and get this all in there. And then start in the next thing, which is the front deck. And I don't quite get to adding the walls to that first front deck piece, but I do get to starting to work with it after finally getting the super glue to act right and everything else. And hold it down with the flat tweezers and the and the scalpel and the little bendy thin tweezers and all that. And yep, here we go. Now I'm starting to play with the first lower frontal deck section. And here I'm starting to take measurements from the plan to find out just where I want to put that wall to start constructing this. And with that little detail, we don't quite get to it in this time-lapse section, but hey, maybe in the next one. So, really quick before I get back to filming the making, I saw another funny thing with this plan I have some serious questions about. This, if you can see it, was called Room 43 on my plan. What does Room 43 mean? Submarine mine store! Right next to a bow that was actually made for ramming things. I think we found what was wrong with your ships, Mr. Beatty. You can't make this up. Chew boom. Oh man, oh man, oh. Now I'm thinking of all the bad things you could rename this boat. Now I'm curious to find out what the damage report was and if it mentioned the mine store. Because seriously, I don't want to know. Alright. Back to building this with a little bit of artistic license just so I can have this deck piece here. This guy, I'm going to add a few little things to it just to... Actually, I don't have to. I can just do a few walls and call it good. Okay, that's what I'll do instead. That'll make it a bit more realistic. Alright, there we go. Back to building. Alright, so now I add the next sections to this. And, yep, there's the walls there. And this is a very simple, easy section for me to do, since there's pretty much 2 stores in that same room, as far as I could tell. So it ended up just being those 3 sections, and that's it. Next up comes the torpedo room, and the little thing in front of that, which I think was a submarine mine store. And when I see that little detail on the plan, I can't help myself. I think I just start laughing. And the reason, I remember, I know I mentioned the reason pretty clearly. But yeah, so there we go. There's a door, and then I screw up the camera settings for some unknown reason. I've been checking the camera. I've been making sure that, yes, it's set to the right. I guess I really am going to have to manually set the camera every time. At least you can see most of the little detail work I do if you squint. Maybe I'll before releasing this, but after my editing, I'll see if I can't maybe tweak the darkness just a little bit. But this is annoying. See, I mean, the turning bright and dim on me of the automatic way that this thing used to do it was annoying, but this is just crazy. So anyways, what I'm doing here is I'm making my own torpedo tubes by taking some of that support from that SLA print and super gluing it to a wall section, and then putting a little strip over it to kind of decorate it, and then putting some strips in the side to kind of try and sell it, you know? That, hey, this is a torpedo tube. You know, I can imagine a torpedo tube having a bunch of, you know, things coming off of it and some support somewhere to help move it around and whatnot or hold it in place. Yep, so there's me using again, the strips I used are the little strips are those .010 by .020 strips. Yep, and there I go, cutting it to the right lengths, and then making the little side bits, or making the, yeah, I guess I made little side bits there. Alrighty. I'll sort out this camera one of these days. Guess I'm just, I don't know, not that bright? Yeah, no, I know, crappy dad joke. Oh well, okay. Here's a regular speed section for you then. Alright. So, I'll get this guy nice and centered. Hope he's not... Oh good, the lighting is still proper. He's focused on that. Is that too bright? I don't... Oh no, it's not bad. Okay. Must be my angle to it. But... Yep. Yeah, learned a little valuable lesson there. If I want to align something to the outside of the hull, I need to make sure that I have some mark on the inside of the hull and put marks on my little deck segment to match those marks that are on the inside of the hull. That way things better line up. Alright, other than that, so I was building through that second floor. I was going to start the third in that segment. I'm like, you know, whatever I put on top of it's going to fall in. So I needed something to act as a set of walls to kind of add more support behind this, what would be the center of gravity. And I figured, you know what, let's add the torpedo tubes. And I scratch built them. Originally I was going to do this detailed thing with them and do it like, you know, on the 3D printer I've got, but nah, I figured, nah, don't need to. I had things that seemed to serve the purpose well enough, so that's what I did. Alright. Back to time-lapse. And overly bright video. I mean, at least because I'm kind of often hunched over it, like you can see what I'm doing a lot of the time. But, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Of course, hey, you know, okay, I'm eating in the shop. Oh boy, I know. OSHA's mad. Well, this is a hobby shop, so, yeah. There I go. I'm measuring out the, what I do is I measure out the width of one of the compartments. I get it, you know, the scale bit, and then I use that along with the measurement of the whole width of this to get the, to work out the numbers of how wide things should be. So, yeah, I think I've already explained that technique. But it's essentially, this is for where I'm laying down the, you know, walls. So besides the scaling up or down of, you know, where they are on the plan versus the model, I'm also, if I have something symmetrical around the center axes, I get the width of one of the rooms in the correct scale, double that, and then I subtract it from, I subtract that from, you know, the measurement or something like that to get where these things should be. Or something like that. Or maybe I measure the center width and then use that to get the numbers. Something like that. It's a lot easier to explain if you have like pen and paper in front of you. Oh well. So yeah, this is the second deck, and as you saw, I've pretty much glued it together. And then I find a detail that makes me laugh even harder. Alright. And then I noticed that all these little time-lapsey sections I've been doing, because, well, I film on one day and edit on another, they're a bit too bright. Hopefully this brightness is good. Hold on, where's the notebook? There's the book. Let's make a note of this right now. Where is it? Yada, yada, yada. That's why I got this thing in part, to, you know, take important notes. Okay. It's that little bit darker, I think will do the job, and if not that bit, then I'll cross that out and write the proper number. Okay. So, I'd set this whole area up here to take a picture just to show to some friends, but, you know, and I want to show you guys as well. Note the dime. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and get back to work. Alright, so changing the music, I figured I should do more than one track for these time-lapse things. So here I am looking at the plans again, just making sure I know where I've left off. And kind of getting the sense of what's really going on with all these bits, putting all the bits back in, and then finding out where things line up, because this frontal section, its refrigerator compartments were two-storied. So yeah, big refrigerators. So what I'm doing there is making sure things line up as best I can to, for when I cut everything out, make it all actually, again, line up. Again, I'm finding with these forward compartments, I don't like this increase in needed artistic license, but it happens. I'm not sure quite where I did it here, but there's something else I remembered from a more recent point. But here we go, we got some more storerooms I'm making the walls for. And then, in a moment, I'll be tweaking up where those door positions are, clipping them to size and gluing them in. And then after that, I go ahead and I start adding more walls. Take some measurements to make sure it's in the proper place. And after that, I think I took the measurements from either from the plan or from the thing itself. So there we go, and then I go ahead and I fill it in. I check. Here we are. So I'm using the both the plans and the physical pieces to get the lengths that I need for various parts of the model there. And there I am. I'm using a drill or a pin vise to drill out the corners of that refrigeration compartment, just to make sure I've got the corners worked out, so I can kind of cut through and try to preserve some of the geometry. When I cut, because that cutter, the scalpel, even though it's sharp, still, leaves a bit of, stuff that needs a little more correcting, whatnot. There I go. And then once I've made this, I realize I need to put an inner wall that either I'll line it up I think I lined it up during this clip. So, yep, there we go. I take it, I look, I realize everything lines up real good. I make a mark with my pencil, and then I go ahead and install this wall section after the fact, and trimming it to size repeatedly, and then just gluing it in place so it sort of works. There we go. And now, about at this point, I look at the plan for a moment after this, just laying things in, making sure it works, gluing it all in place again. Put away the pin vise drill, looking at what the next deck piece is, and then I have a laugh. Okay. Now, to be fair, a lot of the things I laughed at in the design of this boat, number one, I've never designed boats. Number two, not necessarily better places to put these things, but hey, minor details. Okay. Well, I can say at least there is some justice, even in the early 1900s. So, I was about to get started, wondering what am I going to build. You'll see, towards the front of this side of the boat, there's a lot of 7s. 71, I think, is a domestics mess. Sorry, 76, not 71. 76 is like the domestics mess, I think it is. 76, yeah. Number 7. Officers' cabins. Yeah, sure. Put the captain and the admiral in the middle of the ship where it's safer. Oh, God. Oh, man. Wow. You can't make this up. All the higher end officers get to be in the middle of the ship where it's safe. For those new, never heard about the Dreadnought before, this thing's only kill was ramming something, with the bow, the front of the ship. I am really getting curious to see that damage report. Rammed submarine. I want to see just what kind of, maybe it did nothing. Maybe it just went through like a hot knife. Okay, yay, great. I'm sorry. Alright, back to modeling. Alright. So, after that laughing fit, I go ahead and start making the walls for those things, including those officers' cabins. Yeah, I know, this is not the first time that I've broken down laughing looking at the design of this ship. There's a double doorway, by the way, I cut out. I end up putting that back in later, making it with just cut up pieces of that wall section there. But yeah, back to my little not quite modeling point, just because I can't seem to get it out of my system now. So, great, and here comes the washed out. Sorry for this. I think it's either this or the next clip. I pull my head out of my butt and you can see things clearly again, because I just told the camera, pretend that you're on the surface of the sun. That seems about appropriate for this camera. I wonder if I'm just clicking, like I was clicking it the wrong way when I was doing this. Like, instead of saying, hey, it's really bright, telling the camera it was really dark and that'd be night vision-y. That'd make sense. That'd make too much sense. That'd be me being extra dincy. Whatever. Anyways, so here I am gluing in various walls. Again, the walls are 0.080 by 0.010 strip. And I cut various things in them for either for bulkhead holes or for doorways. But yeah, but the front of that ship. Okay. Things that I've seen there. a submarine mine store, the refrigeration room, torpedo stores, officers' cabins, and I guess the domestics mess, which I'm assuming is some mess hole for people to keep the ship clean or something. But the submarine mines and the torpedoes. And they designed this bow for ramming, too. That sounds like, I don't know. That sounds like a recipe for a rather big torpedo. Yeah, it's supposed to be a battleship, not a torpedo boat, as in the boat is actually the torpedo. But that sounds like a quick recipe for doing exactly that. Huh. Now, I know that this thing had lots of armor and all that stuff, but still, I'm sorry. So as you see, I have, using the calipers, put in the walls to the various rooms, sketching out their locations as needed, and then cutting in the that polystyrene strip as needed to be the various wall sections, and making sure that things lined up reasonably well with where they had to go to be reasonably accurate to the ship itself. And we're about at the end of this section here, and hopefully at the end of this washed out, over bright footage. Sorry about that. Still trying to get my head out of my butt with this camera here. Alright, so that was a fairly productive build session. I went from, I think, what, 1 or 2 walls on this thing to having all the walls in and now doing doors. Yep, that was pretty darn impressive to me. Should still fit in good too, which is nice. Then I'll throw in the doors, and then I'll have to move on to the back section. And as I've been doing this, I had a realization. Took me the whole boat to learn this lesson. I think this lesson's going to be really important. I've been doing this whole thing backwards. I've been building the bottom decks and going up. What I should have been doing is building the top decks going down. Now, the reason why bottom deck went first was in part fitting. I wanted to make sure that they fit inside that hull, and that means I have to have the hull below support the deck. Sorry, the deck below supports the deck above, supports the deck above, so on and so forth. Problem with that is that, yeah, then going up, I have to come back down to try to do stairways and everything. And while there is some flexibility there, and in being careful and trying to tee off the same, surfaces and whatnot to get your measurements, you can do it, you can make things work. At the end of the day, there's that risk of it still not quite lining up very much at all. Versus if you go from the top down, then you're virtually guaranteed for anything that has to go through that stuff lines up, because you've line to line essentially. So what I might do for the next deck sections in the back of the ship is make some kind of spacer the thickness of these walls to push things up. So I would have everything sitting on the spacers, and then do a deck, remove spacer, trace out the holes, do all the things going up, same, and then rinse and repeat. But that is neither here nor there. I think I've got a ton of footage at this point to try to slough into my computer. So that is what I am going to do next. So, let's see. I could probably do another good modeling session or two and squeeze it into this upcoming video. I mean, I did say about once a week. These videos might get longer if I keep up the modeling pace. I know, it's good, easy reading or listening when you're either trying to handle stuff because of the pandemic, and either stuck at home or working from home and whatnot, or just, using my voice as kind of white noise. So yeah, I'll keep doing that too. Alright, so Bottoms up on this set of videos. I'm going to go charge the battery. I got new batteries for the camera. Longer modeling sessions, hooray. And yeah, next time I'll see you, I'll be doing more doors on that. And not only will I be doing more doors in this clip, I'll also finally figure out what I'm doing wrong with the camera to make this so bright and washed out. Unfortunately, again, I can't quite undo all the brightness in the footage. It seems that I can make it darker, but it doesn't make things easier to see. And also because this does end up a lot in my shadow of my face, you know, hulking over it and looking at the thing, I'm pretty sure we can still get a good idea of exactly what I'm doing. Still, at least the brightness, it doesn't do that kind of flashing brighter, dimmer thing that was just driving my eyes nuts. Now I have blinding sunlight instead. So here I am making the doors again, using the polystyrene strip to make the doors and gluing them in place over the various closed or opened, you know, door areas as I see fit. So, yep. And there I am. I think this is me trying to make either another door, or yeah, make doors or make a room that I forgot about. I think it was the doors, right? Yeah. And after seeking that and seeing that it's there, doing a bit of work and checking how the rest of the boat superstructure thing fits, I decided to go ahead and do the front of the boat. And so, in doing that, yeah, I found there we go. Hey, I learned how to use a camera. So, as you can see, I started taking measurements, marking inside the boat, and then trying to glue things into place. It's not really all that much different from what I've been doing on the other decks of the boat, but I figure, you know, there are slight differences. It'll be good to get some idea how to do this into the existing pieces, just so that things go smoother, if at all possible. So there we go. And yep, there I am, painting things up, and taking some more measurements, and then taking a combination of measurement and artistic license for this forwardmost set of rooms. So, there we go. Yep. Just, yep. So there's a couple, I think it's officers' cabins, or there's like a lobby there, I think, as well. Right in the bow of the ship. Talk about expendability. I mean, hi. Okay, that joke's getting a bit old, but there I go. I'm gluing in some of the wall pieces. I may actually decide to take one out later just to make it. Yep, I decided to add the door because I forgot. So, now I add both the doors because there's two compartments in there. Glue it in place, and then I proceed to. Yeah, I think that's where I put the wall between the two of them. There we go. Huh. Just had a thought. Maybe I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up on the end, one of the next videos or something. Sorry. So yep, here I am. I'm cutting at various angles, also side pieces, so it'll fit in. All right. So here I am back to filming. Hopefully, I'm starting to get this whole filming thing right, because otherwise it's going to be really annoying to once again look at how light is either too bright or too dark and never just right. Might push me back to doing the auto settings. Hopefully, though, I've figured it out. So, alright. Anyways, other than that, I've pretty much got this, except for a few rooms, I've got this front guy pretty well done. There's like, there's still some rooms that go up in this section, but other than that, it's actually really coming together. Then after I do this front section that I've been putting into the boat, I guess I might want to do some, putty work just to seal things over, and then, well, at that point, I got to make a choice. The choice has pretty much already been decided for me, since I've got to get supplies to do it anyway. I'm going to have to go ahead and work on the back decks, which, hooray. So that's what I'm going to go do. Alright. Okay, time to do a little more modeling. Peace out. Alright, so now you'll see me in the front of the ship, again, cutting the strips of styrene. I cut angles into it when it's, going up against the sides of the ship, just because the sides of the ship were angled a bit. Other than that, I try to cut it straight. This, yeah, oh good, this is a one of the double walls in that very forward compartment. And then there's another one with, like, I think a single door in it the other way. And something that annoys me with this this front set of decks that I keep fiddling with is that it's not level when it sets in. It's like cocked. It stays cocked. It's really annoying, you know? I mean, I guess it'll be okay if it, you know, all, I don't know. I guess it'll be okay if it, you know, can level itself out, but yeah, I don't know. Either way, yep, there I go again, trying to make it level out, and it just doesn't quite work. It's rather bothersome. And you'll see me, there we go, now I fill in some of this holes that are in this front section just to, you know, make it look more solid for when I, you know, paint it all up, try to sell the illusion that, hey, this goes into the ship or something. And, yeah, I put some putty into that frontal corner bit too. What I might do is put a magnet there for when I'm trying to hold the deck in place. That'll be good because the deck does need repeated holding down. And other than that, then I go ahead and I get started on the back decks while I, as I mentioned in this upcoming slow motion section, order the photo etch stuff to make more of the details. So here I go, cut, using the same procedure as before. I did find something that works in this though. I found that a regular Elmer's glue seems to work in gluing those sections of the silicone together. Alright, here's the end. Alright, so as you saw from the last little clip I did there, I've gone ahead and started sectioning these guys for the back decks into their respective cutouts. So that will allow me to hopefully do a little more work while I wait for the photo etching supplies. But until then, first thing is I've got an order placed for sure by now. And second is I'm going to edit this, put it up, and alright, this is probably going to be one of the longer ones of the channel for a while, but I'm going to see if I can't keep to this once a week pace here, so guess that's it for now. YouTube dance time. Like, share, subscribe, hooray! Alright, peace out.